So what we're doing is we're doing it in seasons. So we're going to launch like the first podcast, the first probably 5 or 6 at once, and then we'll do the next 5 or 6 next month. And the aim of it is you're in property, right?
Yeah.
There's so many property communities out there where you can support each other. There's maybe a lot of scam ones as well, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that the community is there to support each other. I don't really see that in business. Like,
no.
The ones that I see are insurance brokers, AI automation ones that we all get bombarded with on LinkedIn and stuff. And I just wanted to create a bit of a safe space for business owners to.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about it like that really, because we've got another business as well. So, and you don't get that within that industry.
What industry is that?
Signage.
Okay.
So we do vehicle graphics and vehicle wrapping. Commercial vehicles we really specialise in, I suppose.
Can you do nationwide?
Yeah.
Yeah. How would that work?
Depends. If someone say got a fleet of vehicles, we just send a team of people there to do that job.
And you can do it on site, just build a tent or whatever.
I mean, ideally we want to be inside because of the mechanics, especially of vehicle wrapping. You need like a warm environment, warm and dry.
Right, okay.
But as long as you've got somewhere you can plug sort of heat guns in and it's warm and dry, it can be set up anywhere. So if people have premises, we just would travel to them. In an ideal world, we have them come to us, but we can go to people. It's fine.
I only ask because we've just got a new vehicle.
Oh, really?
That's going to need wrapping.
Yeah. So we can do that. As long as, really it needs to just be inside somewhere that's dry and warm.
We're in a serviced office, so we haven't really got an inside.
Yeah.
Unless I drive it through my front window.
Something. Yeah. So, obviously in an ideal world, we do it on our premises because we've got everything set up there and all the equipment. But
and what scales that business at, like, in terms of, you don't need to divulge exact figures if you're not comfortable, but just like revenue?
Yeah, so I suppose our turnover's around sort of 700,000.
Okay, so it's a decent size.
Yeah, we started 15 years ago.
Okay, so go on, sorry.
No. So we started from sort of nothing really. It was my husband's sort of, and my oldest stepson's sort of area of expertise. And just started with nothing, sort of half a shared unit didn't have any equipment or anything. We sort of subbed that out. And we've sort of grown over 15 years, but we haven't actually tried to get any bigger probably the last 7 or 8 years. I think there came a certain size where you could still give that service and the expertise. And I think sometimes if you go finding skilled vehicle wrappers is hard. So everyone we've trained up. So I think sometimes going bigger isn't necessarily, for us, we didn't think necessarily was better. We like to keep that sort of family feel and level of service.
It's a theme that's really common in this room today. So you're the 4th person we've spoken. It's probably the 3rd time that this conversation's come up about whether you have a boutique lifestyle business.
Yeah.
And that might downplay the size of your business, right? But boutique and lifestyle kind of at the lower level, and then a monster at the other level.
A monster has its own problems,
So this is the thing. And then you've got that messy middle bit where you have to hire management and your salaries all drop because you've got to take that overhead. But having the foresight of going, you know what, we're comfortable at this level. I'm happy here. I don't want to go anymore. It's a really good skill. Whether that was by design or not, I'm not sure.
No, it is really. And I think what we're trying to do is look at multiple income streams anyway. So, that's one of our income streams.
Yeah.
We're doing property as well, and that's another income stream. And I'm starting to do some mentoring now with people in property who want to learn more. It's different sort of than a lot of property training. It's more hands-on, really, for sort of existing business owners who probably have got some knowledge and but just want a bit of hands-on help and confidence to sort of get started. So I think that's a deliberate thing for us, really, just to try and keep it as one of our income streams.
Yeah, I think it's sensible. And so you mentioned you're kind of stepping into, like, you've got your multiple streams of income with property. What does your property portfolio look like?
So I probably went into property full-time about 3 years ago. Probably spent the first year sort of training and things as well and educating myself more. So 2 years ago, almost to the day, was the first property I bought to flip. So I've done So you know what a flip is. Obviously, I'm saying this so everyone knows, but sort of buy, add value, sell at a profit. So we've done 3 of those, 2 Airbnbs.
All holding. So the 2 Airbnbs.
Flips, yeah, the Airbnbs are holding.
Mm-hmm.
The flips have been buy, sell, sell, make a profit, move on to get more cash to put in. And then I've bought a property in the Northeast, and I'm actively looking to buy and hold in the Northeast alongside what I'm doing in my local area as well.
And are they vanilla buy-to-let stuff, or are they HMO stuff?
In the Northeast, it will be student property. And but whatever, that might vary. I've got one coming up that'll be vanilla buy-to-let. Just depends on the property, really. And I try and look at each individual opportunity that I get and see what will perhaps suit it best. So one of the ones I've just finished, where the location of the property was, I got it at a really cheap price and added value. I could have sold it on and made a profit, but it was ideal really for service accommodation and Airbnb.
Nice.
So decided to sort of remortgage that out and keep it.
Nice. And what are your metrics of success for a deal?
What, for any deal?
Yeah.
As in...
so if a deal comes across your desk, what are the key metrics that you will decide whether that's a successful deal to proceed with?
Right, okay. I like to be able to work out if I can get the majority of my money back out. So, I could buy a property that's completely renovated already and decide to hold it as a buy-to-let, but obviously there would be an element, my deposit would be left in that deal. So if I can buy something at a good price and add value, then I can, even if I'm holding it or selling it, either of those things will basically make me a profit or get my money out that I've put in. Location. I think location is more important than anything, if I'm honest, whatever you're doing. Because, you can make the best house ever, can't you? But if it's somewhere no one wants to live or stay, or then what? That's not any good to anyone, is it really? Yeah. And then also adding value, things like extra bathrooms, extra bedrooms, looking at what people either who want to stay there or buy it, what do they want? How do they want to live? What's the layout that they want in a house? What do they want in a garden? Do they want parking? I think it's really important to try and match what you're creating with what people want to buy. And think about them as opposed to making it too personal about yourself. No,
yeah, I totally agree with that. Don't do pink walls or anything.
No, and I actually stage my proproperties to sell. Well, to sell or...
I do. That's a really
Is that what you do?
thing. Yeah.
So every one I've done, and I don't really think anybody in my local area does that. And I do open days.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I do. Yeah, so is
I do offers over.
Yes.
Open days.
Exactly, I do
furnished.
that. Yes.
I turn up. I have bottles of water. I go to Costco, get my bottles of water, get my pastries.
Yeah.
Put plugins around the house.
Exactly the same as me. And because we've got a signs company, I do, I have before and after, professional before and after photos done. I do a big board with all the before pictures on, like the floor layout, how the new layout's going to be. I've got a really brilliant team of helpers and they come and help host. So it's teas and coffees and, welcome. I don't call them investor days. I call them open days. So I encourage the neighbours to come, other people interested in property, anybody who wants to come along. It's not about a sales environment. It's about coming to see what we're doing.
Yeah, you're selling the emotion, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I can't take credit for that, by the way. I listened to a webinar with a guy called Tyler Newman.
Oh, yeah.
Do you follow Tyler?
No, but I will now.
Yeah, go and have a look at him. I think he just sold the business or he's exiting the business. But he basically created, the American sales model?
Yes.
He was doing that in the UK. And I listened to a webinar with him and he's the one that said it. I tried it after being unsuccessful with some other flips.
Yeah.
And I tried it on my next one and it went like hotcakes and like 18 grand over asking.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, one of my tradespeople, the first one I did, when I was doing it, and he actually said, well, this is very American, isn't it? I don't think they had much faith in the idea of it. But to me, it's not only getting the offers over, it's selling it quickly. So all of them that I've done have sold very quickly.
Yeah.
I think I think to me, you've got to hit the market and sell quickly because no one wants things that have been hanging around, do they? And I think it creates a bit of I don't know, a bit of a vibe. People like to, but some people don't, I don't think they have much vision really for how they could perhaps set rooms up and things. So yeah, it's worked really well for me.
Yeah, we didn't sell. So on that one I'm talking about, our first one, we didn't actually sell it to the highest bidder. We sold it to someone with the highest deposit.
Yeah.
Because I knew that they were the most proceedable. And the other reason I didn't proceed with, so the two reasons, this girl turned up and I knew her. Yes. So I ended up selling the house to her.
Oh, really?
But I said to her afterwards, I was like, have you not seen me posting this all over my social media? Because she turned up based on the agents thing. And I was like, you could have saved me about $2,500 there. Why are you not looking at my socials?
Well, exactly. And funnily enough, because I'm lucky enough, we've got a signage business. I put a big sign up on the house and saying, so people walking by and all the rest of it as well. And I've had a phone call this morning actually, and it's somebody who's seen the sign on the house. They've not seen my socials, phoning up and saying, oh, are you selling it? And so she's going to come along as well. So yes, so
save you thousands in fees, and I don't particularly think estate agents are great these days. I think they're glorified key holders. I've got a really good one,
so
for the most part, I've not met a good estate agent really. I think they're glorified key holders who stick you on Rightmove and hope for the best. Yeah, and we have to drive the conversations of I want to do open house, I want to furnish it. Yeah, I remember asking an agent once, what is your current lead time from sale agreed from listing to sale agreed? And they were like, oh, it's about 6 weeks. And I was like, no, there's an exact figure that's your current running average, and that might be 36 days. And they just couldn't fathom my question. I was like, how is that not a metric in your business?
Yeah. I do think you get I know even when I'm buying, a huge difference in the level of service you get. You can phone up somewhere and they don't ring you back. Yeah. I mean, I had one house I was looking at and I must have phoned about 3 times and no one rang me up. And I said, look, do you not want to sell this house? I can't get a viewing or anything. But I do. I've got one particular company I work with that are very good, but they get them back, you see. So they
That's a good tactic.
They get them back, but they also go over and above. They don't do videos on all of the properties they sell. They do on mine. They do. But then I'm presenting them in the best way as well. And I think I do. I sort of know what I want for them anyway, and we work together. I know exactly, like you say, offers over, and we have a. So my experience with some are good.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I'm buying them, I want a bad agent when I'm buying.
Yes.
I want someone who's marketed it wrong.
Yeah.
It says on the thing 2 beds and it's 3 beds.
Yeah.
They're the type of ones I want.
Exactly, yeah.
Going back to your signage business that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, obviously I mentioned about the community, didn't I? That they're the type of businesses that I want in our community. Yes. That are kind of at that 250 grand to £1 million turnover that can help each other share best practices. Yeah. And just because a signage business and a female e-commerce brand doesn't look like it's got that many synergies, but it has. It could be accountant, solicitor, tax advisor, wealth planner. And you could just, and it's lonely, right? I don't know about you, but you sound like you've got family that can help support with that side of the business, and you kind of be the emotional shoulder. Yes. I think for a lot of business owners, they haven't got that.
Yeah. Actually, I hadn't really thought about it until you said, because there isn't any community as I can see from the signage business. I mean, we have good relationship with our suppliers. The suppliers will tell us about other businesses. We do have, as in other similar businesses, as to what's going on there. We do have a couple of businesses locally where if it's not their level of expertise, they will pass them on to us. Yeah. There's that sort of, we don't mainly in our area seem to tread on each other's toes sort of thing. Everybody sort of is doing, not trying to steal business from each other. But it's not the same in the level of community. But I don't know, is it more a male-led type of business?
I'd imagine signage.
Yes, in which case are they maybe less into the networking type of environment?
We don't talk about
exactly.
Things.
I mean, I hadn't thought about it before, but maybe that's just a different...
Yeah.
Because you're right, property people do a lot of networking, don't they? And a lot of communicating and a lot of sharing best practice in the main. So I don't know why that doesn't happen. I mean, we won an award last year at one of the sort of national awards, and certainly at that
she's just
event.
thrown that in there, hasn't she?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Go on, plug it. What was it?
Well, it was a Sign and Wrap award. So we won for the internal design of a bespoke project that we'd done. But I think, to be fair, we hadn't probably put ourselves in for awards before. That was a bit of a new idea.
Yeah.
And then we went to the event and we were on a table with another company, and that meant that we sort of talked to them. But would we have done that otherwise? Probably not. Mm-hmm. And there's not, I hadn't really thought about the fact that there isn't that same level of sort of community. And, yeah.
Well, you'll be getting added to a WhatsApp group after this anyway.
Oh, that's good then. Yeah. So,
so what we're going to try and do is everyone that's been on season 1 of the podcast, so it's going to be 11 or 12 people, I think. We're going to put everyone in a group and just try and do that.
And they're all different businesses then, aren't
they?
Yeah.
So you're actually the last episode of the season. Yeah. So who've we had? We've had a pre-revenue prop tech company.
Yeah.
We've had two female e-commerce brands. One of them was my missus, who's exited. We've had a marketing agency. We've had property management companies. We've had a condom vending machine company.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. How that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good point. I was like a child.
Yeah.
I was so immature in it. I'm supposed to be professional, but yeah.
But there's obviously a need for it then. And actually how successful it is, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so the vending machines are, so you'll have the sanitary ones in the female, and then in the male they have condoms and Viagra.
Maybe they should have them both in both. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was a fun episode. Yeah. It was but yeah, I was like a child and I shouldn't have been. But and then for me it's just then about sharing best practices, like I say, and even something like what you've just said there. Have you ever thought about a little message in a WhatsApp group? Has anyone ever gone for any awards or anything? There might be people sat there going, I've never thought about that, but what credibility does that add to me in my business? Well,
and I think that's an interesting point. I mean, I was lucky enough to win an award myself a couple of weeks ago, like a coaching award, but I was nominated for that. But actually, there isn't anything against any business nominating themselves, is there? But like you say, why do people not do that? Do they feel that, I don't know, they feel they're not worthy of that?
Or they don't know, maybe.
Or they don't know, yeah. They can put themselves forward because it is all about putting yourself out there, isn't it? And explaining what you do.
Yeah.
So.
What's your role in the signage business?
So I don't go in very often. I'm sort of oversee the financial side, really. Okay. Financial and HR side. But I do my side remotely, really.
And then most of your time then spent up with the property side. Yeah.
So both of the businesses are my husband's and my business, but he's more the signage and he's sort of the face of the signage business and I'm the face of the property business. And that sort of works better, really, having our own areas, I think.
No, that was what I was going to say, that having the defined roles is super important.
Yeah.
I know it's, because maybe it's a bit different with your husband, but it's nice to have that clarity, right?
I think, otherwise that's all you talk about is work, isn't it? And things as well. So, he's the one who knows the industry and the customers and is the expertise on that side of it. I think my skills, as far as that business is concerned, could be applied to any business anyway. Whatever business it is, it still needs. It still needs an HR function. It still needs the finances looking at. It still needs the cash flow managing. It still needs all of that. I actually think some of the things I do are applied to anything, really. So it can be transferable. And I've worked in lots of different industries, so it is transferable to other.
Yeah, what was your background?
As well. Banking for 15 years, and then the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh.
I was part owner of a commercial vehicle truck business years ago, and signage, now property. So all sorts of things. But there's lots of things that are similar in any business.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on business first versus property first?
Well, as in being successful or making it work? I mean, property is property, but if you don't run it as a business, it doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah, I speak from personal experience here, so it's a bit of a loaded question, because when I got into business, I started a property business first, and perhaps I chose the wrong strategy. I accept that. But also I just find that property is very difficult to make money when it's your only source of income.
Yes, yeah.
Especially from a standing start, which is what I was. I sold my house and I put all of my money into property, and I was a standing start.
I think there's a lot of property education out there, which I think is a big money making.
And I fell foul to this, by the
way. And me. So I'm not judging anyone, because as I did, and I was listening actually this weekend to a lot of the techniques that a lot of the big companies use, and it's very clever. It's a really clever strategy, isn't it? Really, that you're going to be a millionaire in a week.
7 days.
Yeah. And you don't need any money. And, and I struggle with that really, because it's not true. A, it's not true. And secondly, people, there's nothing wrong with people having dreams, but I think it needs to be a realistic dream, and people understand the stress and the risk that you're taking and how horribly wrong it can go if you get it wrong, isn't it? It is all about, and you need that business side of it. I think you need to be able to manage your cash flow. You need to be able to find decent tradespeople and decent solicitors, brokers, all the rest of it. And that's a whole business side of it, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And I found that my bank balance it only goes one way with property, right?
Definitely.
Until the liquid day, whether you sell or whether you refinance. And that just wasn't good for my personality.
No,
it wasn't good.
And I don't think there's enough warning about that, really.
No, there wasn't.
For people to, because not everyone can cope with that or has got the funds to manage that. Invariably, everything goes over. Things don't very often go under budget, do they? I mean, it's lovely to say they do, but they don't.
Yeah. Have I had a project that was on budget and on time?
Hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, I don't recall a project that I've had on time or on budget.
Exactly. And both of those are so important, aren't they? Even the fact that, the time element is so important. It doesn't really matter what you think something's worth at the end. The property's only worth what someone's prepared to buy, pay for it, aren't they? Or whatever the valuer comes out on the
which is a whole
remortgage.
separate issue. Yeah. I've had so many issues with valuers.
Yeah.
So we've, touch wood, I've found a valuer now that we use on all of our projects, even if they're more expensive, because we know we're going to get the right value. Because they can be not impressionable, that's the wrong word, because they're obviously bound by RICS, aren't they? But they're pragmatic. Like they understand the figures that you're giving them are the right figures. And whereas I think some people just go and go, okay, that's the figure, I'm going to knock 20% off just for the fun of it. And don't realise the impact. Have you experienced that?
Yeah. And I mean, the whole concept of your timing, the importance of getting, especially if you're on short-term, like bridging finance, you have to get that project done, finished, completed, allow time to be sold for the sale to go through. You're really going to come unstuck if you don't do all of that. And you've got to cope with all the fact that money's tied up. I don't think enough of that is talked about with the property education world.
Doesn't sell, that's why.
Exactly. And I'm very uncomfortable with that. But don't get me wrong, I've been through that process myself. And I would probably say I had more experience than a lot of people because, years ago I was a mortgage advisor when I worked for the bank, and we had a couple of buy-to-let properties and we've had businesses. So I would say I was ahead of some people in the understanding of the whole process. So when I see people sort of being caught up in this journey I just feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, when I said before about, I was on a property project and I lost money on it. It was my first ever commercial to residential. And I was part of a mastermind scheme while that was all happening. I was paying 12 grand a year to be part of it. And once it all ended, I was very resentful because I was like, why haven't you, I take accountability, right? It was my fault. But why haven't you helped me and told me at the start, that's probably not the right deal? For whatever reason, right? Because in hindsight, I look at it and go, the numbers didn't make sense. the project was a bit too small, so there was no economies of scale.
Did you take that deal to the mastermind?
Yeah.
Oh, really? And no one sort of said that to you?
But I guess the deal is only as good, in their defence, the deal is only as good as what I'm presenting to them, right?
Yes,
and if I'm embellishing the figures or I'm being a bit optimistic with the figures, but again, for me, that's on them to then take that away and review it themselves as part of that membership.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair.
No, I think you're right. You know, we have to say no probably more often than we say yes to a deal. And, you know, and also I think look at the worst case scenario, really. Do you not think? I always try to do that and think, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Am I going to lose money or whatever? And can I live with that decision? Yeah. And I don't know if anyone is, but like you say, it doesn't sell, does it? Yeah. That doesn't sell courses.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But a statistic I was reading at the weekend, I don't know if it's right or not, when I was just reading about this, you know, this sort of principle of how it's all to do with getting people in a room, isn't it? And then you're upselling as the day goes on and all of this. And it's a very...
Run to the back of the room.
Yeah, all of that stuff, you know. And it was some sort of undercover... somebody had done some undercover thing on YouTube and they said they were waiting to see how... And they couldn't believe how many people did run to the back of the room. It was huge. They thought, I might get a few, but it was probably 50, 60%. And it is they were talking about the dopamine hit and the very specific way that it's all sold. And as the day goes on, it's ramped up with there's only these number of places left and all of that stuff. Yeah. And the statistic that this particular person was talking about was 5% of those people will probably be successful. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a statistic they came up with. And I thought, do you know what? Actually, you know, people are paying all that money, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? You've got to still get going, still find the right deal, still
sink a lot of time into
a lot of time and money and find the right tradespeople. And, you know, that's a whole nother area to talk about anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's why the reason I asked that question is, so what I do in my business now with my property stuff, so I made a decision to move everything that is private, buy-to-let, into supported housing and social housing, because that's kind of what my background was. And if I can't do that, I'm selling it.
Okay.
Because for me, it's a time vampire.
Yeah.
And with the stage that my business is at the moment, I haven't got the time to be managing trades. I haven't got time to be looking for deals. If a deal comes across my desk and it's a good deal to be had, I will take it. If it's low effort, you know what I mean? Like someone phoned me 18 months ago, Ryan, I've had this offer accepted in auction. I've had another one accepted. I can't have both. Do you want the other one? Give me 500 quid. I had a look at the deal. Can I get in it? No. I said, okay, no problem. I drove up that night, looked outside, make sure it wasn't falling down. Phoned him back, said, yeah, I'll buy it. That type of stuff I'll do.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of vanilla, boring, social supported housing, no stress.
Yeah, I haven't done any of that. The social supported housing, I'm finding I'm getting deals come to me now without me particularly looking. But I think that's as time's gone on. And then you're building up. Yeah, you're getting to building up. So I'm finding deals are coming more often than I'm looking for them. I've got really good trades and they run the projects.
For now. A good trade turns into a bad trade on the next project.
Do you think they're on my third or fourth one?
Yeah. From experience, I've had good trades that turn into bad trades on other projects. And listen, I'm a fan of a falling out. Don't get me wrong. As long as it's then amicable and you can then move back on and you can all kiss and make up and stuff. But I've just had trades that have just gone from good on this one. So you kind of give them a bit more freedom on this one. And they just fuck it up.
Mine project manage and then they do stuff and then they organise it all. And I'm probably on my fourth one with them. And we're like a big team. They have the same trades on everything. So same flooring, same windows, they all work together.
Yeah.
So they're managing that, you know, so far so good with my experience. But obviously then when I'm working in a different area, I'm reliant on, so I've got somebody else sourcing, managing, and will deal with the end, you know, let it for me as well. Because I'm a bit like you, I want hands off. You know, I'm not managing my service accommodation units, nor do I want to.
Yeah.
Sort of get them done, finish, move on or pay someone else to manage them. I don't really want anything to do with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
It's just so yeah, we shall see. But hands off would be nice longer term.
Yeah.
So it's an income. They are income streams.
Yeah. I just for me, I don't think you can be any more hands off than the social and supported housing.
No, it's not something. I know that. I mean, I did look into it, and I don't know in my area. Maybe it's not so much demand for it. I don't know.
Northeast.
No, well, Northeast it would be, but I'm in Northamptonshire, so I don't think in my area I've seen much about it. But in the Northeast, there could be.
But I think that's more not that it isn't needed. It's just that the yields don't make as much sense. Because the issue with social and supported housing, and I admit to this, is the rent that you get. You hear these unicorn stories, right, where people are getting astronomical rents from social and support. For me, they're unicorns. I've had more conversations about that than I've seen deals like that. So typically you get local housing authority rate plus maybe a 10%, something like that.
But if you haven't got any break in your, you haven't got any break, then that's what you're doing it for, isn't it?
Of course. And it works really well with HMOs. It probably doesn't work the best with single lets. I've just passed a single let over to a housing provider, and I've taken it should have been 650 on the open market. I've just taken 600 because I was probably going to give it to a manager anyway, and they were going to take 10% at fact, so I'll be on 590. And I'd still have to deal with the stress anyway, because all they do is pick up the phone and say, Ryan, there's been a leak. Can we fix it? Yeah, no problem.
So you see, HMOs is not something I've done anything with.
Social
yet.
HMOs are good.
Yeah, okay. Worth looking at.
Yeah, happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Ask me now on the podcast. Go on, let's do a live session.
I just want nice housing for people. And I don't... That's just, I know, to me, it's not just about the money. I really want to believe that anything that I've got that people are living in or staying in is nice.
Yeah.
And I do accept that not everyone's fortunate enough to live in accommodation like that or be able to afford that sort of thing. But I've just seen different levels. I've seen some great HMOs. I don't think the area I'm in quite is, I think some of the bigger cities you can probably demand the professional level monthly income, from each room, because you're providing all en suite, everything like that as well. And then I've seen some awful ones, and I couldn't provide that sort of accommodation.
So I agree. I'm just trying to find a picture for you now of the standard that we do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at ours and think that they are social accommodation. That's by design, because I'm the same as you. I don't want anybody living in substandard accommodation. So we put en suites in our rooms.
Oh, nice.
Where possible. Yeah. As long as we're remunerated for it, because it future-proofs us as well. But the reason one second, I'll get this one as well. There you go. So that's kind of...
Yeah, nice.
So you wouldn't look at that immediately and think that's a social accommodation. No. And I want to create good houses for good people. It's nice that when you turn up to one of your houses, and I remember this guy once, I was doing a video tour because I didn't get one when I passed it over. So I went back to do a video tour, and this guy was talking to me, and as I was videoing, and I got it on video, he said, he was like, oh, thank you so much for this. He was like, I don't know where I'd be without this.
Really?
That was such a nice feeling. Yeah. And I know we're in it for money stuff as well, but having that,
it is money,
really
of course
rewarding.
it is, but to me it's about providing something that's needed as well, and I think that's really important. So although I haven't done HMOs, obviously we do SA, and the properties that we've got, I mean, in an ideal world I like contractors in, because again it's easy, they're long term, you haven't got all your changeovers, it's regular income. But I would still like the fact when I get reviews that it's better than contractors are expecting. They turn up and it's better, or anyone turning up there, it's better than they're expecting. That is nice.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, and it would really matter to me if people are turning up and they felt it was substandard in any shape or form. Yeah. So you're right. It's about, isn't it, providing accommodation and making sure that you're happy with the accommodation that you're given. And also, I suppose, finding a provider that also I don't know, that they do what they say they're going to do. As far as the maintenance, I assume it's all maintenance, isn't it? The maintenance is done.
Yeah, so I think the strength that I have is having a business called the Supported Housing Compliance Company. We have a plethora of housing providers that we can call upon when I've got one of mine that needs tenanting. And
is that certain areas of the country you find that works better though?
I don't know if it's because geographically it's where I'm based, but Greater Manchester seems like it's got the most providers. And again, I don't know if that's because that's where I've been active. That's where the business operates, mostly kind of northwest Greater Manchester and surrounding areas. Not to say we wouldn't go further afield. It's just that at this moment in time in our business, we need to justify that. If you gave me a portfolio of 100 units in Cornwall, then we'll go, right? But if you asked me to go and do one fire risk assessment in Cornwall, I'm going to have to charge you £1,000.
Yeah, of course,
and that's not going to make sense. So I think what you'll find is with the supported housing providers now, they're becoming a lot savvier, I guess I'd say, because they used to be able to accept crap, and they don't now because they know that it's a very desirable strategy for landlords because it's hands off and it's no management, no maintenance, no stress, don't deal with tenants. So they can now pick and choose who they want to work with. So I speak to a lot of housing providers now. If you came to me and said, Ryan, I've got this property in this area, will one of your providers take it?
You're a good person to know then, aren't you?
Well, wait until I finish this and maybe I'm not. So what they then say is, okay, have you been involved in the build? No, we don't want it then. Because they will only work with people that they know has built the property well. Because they know they're taking it on for 5 to 7 years and they don't want to take on a liability. So what you'll see with, by the way, that social accommodation that you referred to, I agree, it's shit and it needs to go. And I've noticed a lot of that is going because the providers are a lot savvier. I think the standard is certainly increasing. I think to be in the social and supported housing sector, I don't think you need to create substandard accommodation. Part of the reason I got into it was to dispel that myth that all social and supported housing accommodation was substandard. I'm really proud of our stuff. If you want to have a conversation, I'm more than happy to. I know some people in the Northeast as well that are doing the same thing. Maybe I could connect you with.
Yeah, it's good because I would rather, I don't know if it works the other way where they say, this is what I'm looking for and then you provide it. Can it work that way round rather than here, I've got something, do you want it? I think I'd almost rather go the other way round and provide what was needed.
Yeah.
Because that way then you're fulfilling a need as well, aren't you? And creating accommodation for people in the right area, the right place and stuff and that as well. So
I think so. You're right. What I would say is the two best deals that I've had have come at me at the 11th hour where I just kind of took a leap of faith, I guess. And I was like, I'll buy it and I'll find someone. And I appreciate not everyone can do that. So I built, it was in Salford, it was a 3-bed, 1-bath HMO. So if it went private, I was never going to make that much money on it. But I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I'm sure I'll find a housing provider. And it was like a week before it was due to be finished. And I was in Dubai and I got a phone call. And it was like, hi, I've got your number from this person. I hear you've got a 3-bed HMO in Salford. I'm a housing provider, I'm looking to take it. And I was like, wow, absolutely great. And and we've just done the same with that £600 one in Burnley. And now we're having another conversation about buying to order. So I've got a meeting with them next week to say, what do you want? I'll buy you whatever you want. Tell me.
Yeah, well, that's a great position to be in, isn't it? But that's because you're well known, I suppose. And
I think that's
been
with you. Cultivated by the business as well. Like I positioned the Supported Housing Compliance Company there for that reason. And I said this on another podcast earlier today. If you've got a housing provider and I ask you for your housing provider, you're naturally going to be cautious because it's taken a lot of effort for you to get that. And you shouldn't really, it's an unwritten rule, you should never really ask someone who the provider is.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, it's a respect thing. Like that's your provider. But if I said to you, I run a supported housing compliance company, who's the provider in there because I want to do their compliance, can you do as an intro? That's framed a bit differently.
Clever,
Then they'd be like, yeah, no problem, I'll introduce you. And I'm not saying we're going to use them straight away or even at all because we need them for the business anyway. But then you never know. Yeah. Like this provider that we're working with now was probably introduced 7 or 8 months ago, probably say. And then all of a sudden, I had this property, messaged him, you're looking in this area? Yeah, no problem. Cool, it'll be ready in 2 weeks.
Very clever.
So, yeah. Are you using AI in your business at the moment?
Ish.
Ish.
Well, ish. I'm not against it. You know, I use it. I mean, I use ChatGPT, you know, because that's great for drawing up all sorts of contracts and stuff like that as well.
It's great for image creation.
It is, yeah. I've tried that with as well, sort of, what can I do with this space type thing. I think there's loads of really good usages for it, really. So, yeah, I think it's something that will be used more and more. But I think it's great for image creation as well and ideas.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Before we get to the quick fire, is there anything that you want to ask me?
Well, I suppose really, I mean, like, how you found people you're going to put on your podcast, really. That to me is interesting. Like, what was your criteria when you were going through? Because you found me on LinkedIn, so you must have had some sort of criteria.
Well, I've got a great team that found you.
Yeah.
We want people on this podcast that are ambitious, that are above, kind of in between £250 and £1 million of revenue. That's kind of what we've said we want to, that's the sweet spot of the people that we want to attract. That's not to say, obviously, if someone was doing 50k of revenue, but you was the right personality, we wouldn't take a view on you. But yeah, like I said to you before, we just want to create a community of people that are in that sphere, because I think you've got to be weird, right? We're just weirdos, like us business owners. We're just weird, aren't we? Like, you've got to be in that revenue category.
I love the idea of networking anyway. I do a lot of networking. I really put myself out there, even on social. I mean, that's a whole weird thing for me, especially at my age. I mean, like, to go and suddenly put yourself out there front and center and go and showcase what you're doing was a whole new thing to do. But I do really like networking anyway. I think everybody can share best practice and ideas and contacts, and there's enough room for everybody, in my view.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's common in property.
Yeah,
but not in business.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. But I have been to some events as well before. I suppose they've been sort of property events, but there's been other trades, and then I've done stuff there where I've been in like a couple of trades WhatsApp groups, and it's sort of that type of. Does anyone know a builder? Does anyone know?
Like your B&I style stuff.
Yes. I'm not a fan of no. I'm meaning more in a sort of like just a generally helpful sort of thing, that there's no benefit to me by telling you someone who's really good to do this, other than that's helping you. Because I think what goes around comes around anyway. So I like that type of thing. But and I think the more all of us get out of there and meet new people and help each other, then that does come back to you, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's just conversations that you didn't know that you was going to have that then had an impact on you. Like one of the first recordings we did of this has not forced me, because I wanted to do it anyway, but has nudged me into creating a SaaS product. So we're creating a tech product within my business now. And that came off the back of the second episode of the podcast. And that's an intangible thing that I wouldn't have known coming into it. And you might get that being part of a community.
Yeah, definitely.
Just what someone said, or giving you that inspiration, just...
or even another business idea. I love new business ideas. Exactly. What else can you do that? I mean, someone said to me actually in one of their masterminds I'm in, if you have got something you love that's a passion, then go and do a business in it, because it's another income stream, isn't it? So travel agency, Amazon provider, I don't know, whatever it is, you can have all of these multiple ideas, can't you? That is fulfilling a need.
Yeah. No, I have the shiny penny syndrome, definitely. So I need to rein that in a little bit. But yeah, being part of a community where, like you say, someone might just say something. I don't know. For example, you might run a window cleaning business, and all of your money comes in 6 months a year, and then for the other 6 months a year, you're always in the red in your overdraft, because you're waiting for those next 6 months. And it might just be someone in a group saying, "Oh, have you ever thought about setting up a gutter cleaning business to run alongside of it, so you can do the other 6 months?" They might go, "Oh yeah, that'll actually really help." So I mean, something like that, being part of a community that you wouldn't have got otherwise. And I'm just using that as an example.
But it is, like you say, someone else coming up with an idea that you hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
No, I love that.
No, well, thank you for joining us. We've got some quick fire questions, if that's okay. If you could own any business in the world, what would it be and why?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Amazon.
Good one.
But because I remember when Amazon started, and you can't knock really, can you, the fact that personally, like, what's the quickest way to get something? You go onto Amazon, it turns up the next day, and we're all even paying for the privilege, aren't we, with our Prime account. So, the concept of providing stuff quickly to people without any effort is clever.
Yep, I remember. There's a few times you remember your first love, right? You remember your first love.
Yeah.
You remember your first pint.
Yeah.
I remember the first time my Amazon delivery came on the same day.
Really?
And I thought, this is absolutely brilliant.
But it is
and
amazing,
I don't begrudge
isn't it?
Jeff whatsoever.
No. And, to me, that's the first thing that came to mind. There's lots of really good businesses, but that model and what you could argue it's taken business away from other places, but, for convenience and speed and knowing what you're going to get and where it is and it's tracked and you can say where to leave it. And, I love all of that because everything to me is about maximising how much time I've got and the speed of what I can get done.
Yeah, it's not even about price anymore, Amazon, is it?
No.
Like say it's about speed.
Yeah.
I literally go on. Can I filter, prime?
Yeah.
Can I get it tomorrow?
Or today. I love it when it turns out the same day. I love that, yeah. So I would say something like that, I suppose.
Cool. Are you listening to any books or podcasts at the moment?
I want to see if I can say it properly. The book I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. I think it's called... Oh, my mind's gone blank now. Integracy, I think it's called. It's about the concept of generational money.
Okay.
And about the concept that actually, historically, there wasn't generational money. The baby boomers created this big bulk of money, which is now going to the next generation. But will that still be here in... often money is lost in 1 or 2 generations. And the expectation of generational wealth, is that going to carry on? Can we all create it?
Yeah.
Why do some people manage to create it and others not?
Yeah. I think it's cultural, isn't it? For a lot, you look at some cultures in the world, Jewish are really strong on it. Muslims are really strong on it, like passing it down through the generations. And it's something that I'm really conscious of now. I'm a father that I look at things like Scott on the last podcast said the same thing. He just read 50 Cent's book and I read that last year and he talks about it in there. Like he's got a son that he's basically just disowned because his son didn't want to work hard. And he was like, I'm not giving you any of my money.
Well, it's an interesting concept because the other thing you do see as well is, interesting, do your children even want what you've built up? Because we all assume they do and maybe they don't. Do we get disappointed if they don't? Is that good for them if they get stuff handed on a plate? I would argue not.
These are the exact challenges I'm going through now as a parent, how to deal with it.
It's very difficult. I've seen in my time and through other business owners where you've seen someone who's created a fantastic business from nothing. The next generation's had it all handed on a plate. Yeah. And actually, that's not really done them any good at all. Yeah. And they weren't particularly suited to that role either. So it is about that work ethic, isn't it? And not just expecting that your children want it or giving them too much. So
I'm gonna WhatsApp you after this. Send me the name. I'm gonna listen to it.
It's I'm not saying the title right, but that's the principle of it. The principle of it's the baby boomer generation. Before that, not certain cultures would have had money that's passed, but the bulk of people didn't even have home ownership. It all changed, and they were talking about the baby boomers, and then the Thatcher years when the buying of the council house. It actually catapulted a huge number of people into this property owning sort of revolution, really. And then property prices have gone completely nuts. And all of a sudden, you've got this wealth by the fact that people have just happened to have properties. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'll give that a listen. What's the saying? First generation makes it, second one sustains it, third one loses it.
Yeah, interesting concept though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
if you could ask any question in the world and get the answer to it, what would your question be? This can be as deep and dark as you want it to be.
Would I say how long have I got?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know whether I'd want to know the answer. But I think time is something we all take for granted. And sometimes I think we're so busy doing stuff to make a future time amazing and perfect. Are we all too busy to be enjoying the journey? So, really and also would you have the thing that, who knows how much time any of us have got? We have an assumption that the average age is X, but it may not be. So
it's part of the beauty of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure I'd want to know the answer, but is that would you live your life differently if you knew that answer?
Yeah. That's really philosophical and a great point to leave your podcast.
I'm just saying off the cuff, but when you're asking me, first thing that comes to my head.
No, that's really, really good. And it's probably the best answer we've had, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because like mine's who built the pyramids? Like mine's a little bit.
Oh, okay. Wasn't so deep as my sort of.
No, yours was a really deep answer.
Yes.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If the viewers or listeners want to get hold of you for any signage or any property related help, where did they find you?
I do a lot of my socials under my personal name, which is Sue Wesby. So it's Sue Wesby Property. I'm on LinkedIn, Sue Wesby. My property business is Sandacre Property, but our signs company is Finch Signs, as in the bird.
Nice.
So yes, so you should find one of those somewhere.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Sue.
Thank you.
I love the supported living model. That's because I'm busy with my other businesses that I just don't want the stress of dealing with tenants. Are you seeing landlords pivot into that space?
It's obviously been growing. Now people are looking, okay, what other options are there out there? And I believe it comes from the worry about the Renters' Rights Bill. And people are now thinking, oh, okay, well, why don't I go into supported living? Because, you know, from our experience, I've spoken to landlords who have rented through councils and I haven't had one that's had a positive experience.
I agree with you. Everyone that's leased to local authority, every bad experience I've ever heard has come from someone leasing directly to the local authority. Everyone who's listening to this would agree. Anything that's public sector funded, it's just ran terribly.